is a monumental day. It's exciting. I am very excited to share. I was only asked to speak on Friday, so this has been a whirlwind of preparation. And you guys all know the main speakers are happening at noon. This is just like a little prequel, if you like. But I want you to know I come in love. I come in the spirit of love. I love all people. I want the best for our children. I have empathy and compassion for everyone in the Two-Spirit LGBTQ plus community. I'm not here to hate on anybody or any people group. I myself wrestled with my own sexuality when I was a teenager, so I do have empathy and I do have compassion, and I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I'm coming from a place of love. You're all welcome here. I believe in free speech. And I wish no one no harm, especially the most vulnerable and impressionable of society, our children. That's why I'm here. I'm like a mama bear when it comes to my own babies. Can anyone relate? Like, particularly when they were little and vulnerable. It's like my instinct to protect and stand on guard for my babies has been heightened over these issues that are being talked about today. Do you remember what it was like to be in grade 2 or 3? I remember grade 2 and 3, I thought boys were gross. Boys had boy germs. I would blow on anything that was mine that someone touched of the male gender. I know some say girls have cuties. That wasn't a thing where I'm from, but boy germs, that was a thing. And you know, things change. Hormones change. I adore my husband. Feelings change. Once I thought and acted like a child, but now I have an adult perspective. I heard comedian Michael Jr. say that his little boy said, "Dad, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor." And he's like, "Yes, direction." And then he said, "Or a dinosaur." Oh. Children have great imaginations and they get totally excited by certain things, and their interests change over time. My friend Kelly really wanted to be a boy when she was little. She was like, "Boys have more fun. I want to be a boy. I hate being a girl. I don't want to wear dresses." She was very, very resistant. Her dream was to be a boy, and her parents were like, "You are a girl. Get over it." And now she's the mother of 4, happily married, very feminine, gorgeous, even been on the cover of a fashion magazine. So she kind of fears if she was born in this generation, in this day and age, and had voiced those thoughts, what would have happened to her? And she went to the principal of a school locally and asked, "Do you have any good news for me around this indoctrination? Because I don't want my kids exposed." And he said, "I'm sorry, I have no good news for you." And you could see he was grieved, but his hands were tied. There was no way for her to opt out. And that wasn't okay. So she couldn't put her kids in public school when she'd been in public school herself and really believed in public school. My friend works as an EA in a Vancouver school. And she tells me this was a little eye-opening. So there was a Soji workshop, and the Soji instructor came wearing a cape and did a presentation in front of the entire school. And these were her words, and I'm quoting. "You have your science body, the body you were born with. That is what sex you are, whether you're a male or a female. But forget your science body, you can choose your gender." And a little autistic boy goes, "Well, that's not right." And my friend was like, "Yes." But you do know statistically the autistic kids are more at risk with this message. They get, you know how their minds get fixated on things. And when you look at the statistics, they're 6 times more likely than the rest of the population to identify in the gender dysphoric community. Do you know your brain continues to grow and develop long after your adult height is reached? Isn't that crazy? Your brain doesn't fully develop until you're around 25. Some it's like 23 years, some it's like as late as 27, but around 25. And the last part of your brain to develop is in your prefrontal cortex, in your frontal lobe, and that is the part of your brain that thinks to consequence. What happens when you're 25 with your car insurance? It suddenly gets a lot cheaper because consequence is firmly established. If I speed around that bend, I'm going to have an accident. That's fully there by 25. So children cannot consent to something that has lifelong consequences when they can't even think long term. They don't know, they might want those body parts one day, right?
That's right. Yes.
Kids might not know if they want to be parents. People's perspectives change. Turning the page. As parents, it is our God-given responsibility to be on watch for our children. We are the ones to guide and protect, for making decisions, for helping them make decisions that they don't have the capacity to think through all the way. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are the ones with life experience. We are the ones with wisdom. We are the ones who see long-term and know perspectives can shift. We're the ones to impart love and respect. We need to protect young minds, and the innocence of children needs to be protected.
Yes, amen. Yes.
Unfortunately, the innocence of children is often not protected. In this day and age, they are exposed to all sorts of things, TikTok, internet, opening their sexual eyes, pornography. And one would hope that schools would be safe.
Yeah.
But safe for who? Tolerance is valued, but that same tolerance is completely intolerant to anyone who has conservative family values, who has a different path for human flourishing. School is not safe for those who hold traditional family values. A wise man once said, "Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires." Some of you know that one. And I'm on guard for that. I don't want my kids' sexuality awakened before it's time. There is a time and a season for all things. And over-sexualizing children is not part of that. So what's happened in our schools, it's gone beyond "you are welcome here and you belong here" to converting students to another belief system. It's not "you are welcome," it's "this is the way you have to think."
Right.
And as parents, if we're not okay with that, we should be allowed to opt out. We should be able to say, "I don't want my kid in that class."
Yes.
But parents aren't given that option. They are not told when these things are happening. And it's throughout all the subjects. It's just a different lens to view the world. We've gone from seeing Rainbow Day to Rainbow Week to Rainbow Month. There is indoctrination happening. Kids feeling confused about their gender. Oh, sorry, backtrack. We live in a day and age where the upgrade is better, right? The iPhone 14, 15 is better than the iPhone 10. But kids feeling confused about their gender is not an upgrade.
No, that's right.
Kids questioning the very reality of their bodies is not an upgrade.
Yeah, no.
Stopping natural purity with drugs made to treat cancer is not an upgrade, people. Infertility is not an upgrade.
No, that's right.
Being a lifelong subscriber to pharmaceuticals is not an upgrade. Cutting off healthy body parts is not an upgrade.
No.
Hello.
Yes, that's right. Evil.
Our children are fearfully and wonderfully made. Do not mess with their minds. Do not mess with their bodies. Placing subjective feelings above objective facts has become the norm in this new era of inclusion and acceptance. Secularism and relativism has come to the forefront. What's true for you is true. You hear that now?
Yeah.
You may think you are a cat, but biology exists. And a school that remains nameless here in this city actually had a kitty litter in the washroom for a child who identified as a cat, and I'm not joking. What has the world come to, people? We need to be the ones guiding our kids.
Yes.
There is such a thing as deception. Jeremiah 17 says, "The heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it?" And we forget that every random thought that comes to us isn't necessarily true. We need to weigh things. We need to question, is this reality? And kids might need help in weighing those decisions. We need wisdom, we need discernment, and we need to guide our children who by nature lack wisdom. They don't know as much as we do. I want to say masculinity is a spectrum. It's everything from the poet to a Navy SEAL.
Yes.
Just because a guy is more sensitive, perhaps more feminine, he is not less of a man. In his DNA, he is still a man.
Right, right.
Even if they don't fit societal norms, men can love the arts, men can love fashion, men can love theatre and dance. They're still men.
Yes.
Femininity is a spectrum. A woman is a woman, even if she doesn't look like a Kardashian. Heck, the Kardashians don't even look like the original version of themselves, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
I celebrate the tomboys.
Yes. Yes.
Girls don't have to be super girly to be female, come on. Well, I loved football as a kid. I loved kickboxing. I loved target shooting. I loved climbing trees. And Daytona USA arcade game, I kicked butt. I bet all the boys. They kept paying for my games because that was my jam. I loved being powerful in my body. I didn't at any time question my gender, as that was not presented as an option to me.
Good.
I have personality traits that are typically male, but that does not make me less of a woman.
Yeah.
One of my closest friends said to me when I was 20, his name's Mark, he's like, Kaz, do you know why you and I get along so well? I'm like, why is that, Mark? And in his very broad Australian accent, he responds, because you think like a bloke. I took it as a compliment. But every cell in my body has 2 X chromosomes, and that is unchanging. It is a lie that your interests have to line up with your biological sex. And if your interests fall outside the norm, you should question your gender. Let's move past these harmful stereotypes. Side note, I was talking to a trauma specialist, and I said to her, rather than people being rushed onto puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, like after therapy, why not give them hormones that match their biological sex and see if that resolves some things? And her eyes went wide. She looked at me, she's like, I have never heard that before. That is brilliant. Because there could be a chemical imbalance, right? There could be something going on that could be fixed medically, but it's a lot easier to fix it when it lines up with how they're actually made.
Yeah.
This whole issue in schools is why I moved to Victoria from Vancouver. I got in an argument with a teacher when all of this was just starting to be pushed in schools back in 2015. And she said to me in a very condescending tone, well, whatever you believe. I walked home in tears, and I had no peace about putting my sensitive boys in that system. I'm like, I'm not having the seeds of doubt put in my sons, who are sweethearts and not the typical boisterous boys, you know, like they're affectionate, they're loving. They do wrestle, they are still boys. I wasn't going to have the seeds of doubt planted in the hearts of my sweet boys, not on my watch. So I opted out. I had the choice. But many people don't have the option of opting out. They can't homeschool, they can't afford private education. What about these parents where what's being taught goes against their beliefs and they don't have the option of doing something else? What about them?
Yeah.
Parents need to be able to opt out. They need to be able to opt out of sexual orientation and gender identity teachings.
Yes.
Parental responsibility has been given to us
Yes.
from above.
Yes.
Parental rights need to be respected, and we have the right to say, keep your hands off my kids.
Yes. Yes.
We are the ones to decide what our children are exposed to. The mama bearing me is just getting riled up right now. We are the ones entrusted with raising and releasing our children. Parents are the final authority on what is best for their children.
Yes.
The children of this nation belong to their parents, not to the government.
Yes.
We are not in a communist regime. The infiltration of indoctrination in the educational system has crossed the line, and we are taking back our parental rights. In our anthem, we sing, God, keep our land glorious and free.
Yes.
And we, the parents, stand on guard.
Yes.
God bless you.